Hello and welcome to Character Count by @TwitterBusiness. I'm your host, @JoeWadlington. Twitter is a lively and passionate place where people come to discover what is happening in their world. So we want to show you the creative ways that brands and businesses and people are using Twitter to connect and engage with the audience that matter most to them. So each episode, I'm going to talk to the folks behind some standout advertising campaigns. Today, I'm talking to Patrick Webster. He's the head of social media at the Monterey Bay Aquarium in Monterey, California. Their Twitter account has over 160,000 followers. Their tweets are regularly covered in news stories. And Patrick himself studied marine biology at UC Santa Cruz. He also used to be a stand-up comedian, so he's the perfect person to run their account. What really sticks out to me about the Monterey Bay Aquarium's Twitter is that they have the grand mission of educating everyone about ocean conservation, and they also want people to just come to their aquarium. Patrick Webster, welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure. You're definitely a celebrity around the Twitter office for all the things that @MontereyAQ does on the platform.
Thank you.
And you do a lot of memes.
Yes, yeah, that's been a new endeavor to have fun on the internet with. So
I saw recently when the sign bunny, the bunny holding the sign,
yes,
was out. And that was going around. Y'all did a version where it was a sea slug holding the sign?
Yes. Yeah. So we were trying to get Nudibranch Week to trend.
And what is a nudibranch for the very few amount of our listeners who wouldn't know?
Yeah. So nudibranch, that's how I pronounce it. Some of you may have heard it nudibranch, but branch being like your branchia, your lungs. So they're gills, and nudi, just a nude. So it's naked gill slugs. And you've probably seen photos of them. They're absolutely beautiful slugs that are highly specialized on the food that they eat, and they're some of our favorite animals. And then just the nudity puns is, it's our favorite little bit of content,
Because y'all did something too with Tumblr's recent update in news as well. There was a lot of nudibranchs coming from.
Yeah. When Tumblr announced no more adult content, we had a few of our just traditional aquarium posts of like a giant sea bass or a rainbow getting flagged. There was a lot of stuff going on there. So just as a reference, we decided to do one last nude post before the ban, and it was just a nudibranch waving back and forth.
What is your favorite meme of the moment?
Not to plug my own work too hard, but the ladies if he meme was going around.
Yes, I love the ladies if he meme. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about, or explain that meme to our listeners.
Yeah, the ladies if he meme was just a ladies if he doesn't respond to your text, lives in a log cabin, has a high-pitched voice, and was the president of the United States. He's not your man. He's Abraham Lincoln. That was the switcheroo that people were doing.
Because I think it started with someone more judgmentally saying like, oh, if this guy doesn't do this, doesn't do that, then he's not your man. He's a deadbeat or something. I can't remember what it originally came from, but I know I've seen that more and more of memes coming from originally a very earnest source.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's exactly where it came from, was an earnest reporting of maybe some toxic behavior happening in a relationship. But then I think people just quickly took that format of the list and that opening, ladies if he, was a very easy format for people to jump into. And everyone was making fun of this particular meme because it had already jumped the shark, more aquarium puns to follow. And you could tell that people were quickly losing interest in it, but I wanted to try to throw an aquarium spin on it. And so ended up doing a tweet that was, ladies, if he doesn't respond to your text, oh, hey, cool, you're reading the tweet. And it just broke the fourth wall by the third line. And then we were just like, well, let's just learn something fun about the ocean. Porpoise teeth are shaped like tiny spatulas. And then people loved it, and then I showed photos of like, here's a porpoise skull, here's a dolphin skull. So using that meme format to, if I was just to be like, hey, do you guys want to talk about dolphin teeth? Probably not that many people would look at it, but using that meme format and just flipping it around and having people be forced into learning about dolphins if they followed through the end of the tweet is kind of maybe not forced into it. Having people be surprised that they learned something by the end of the meme is what we try to do. Yeah.
My meme of the moment is seeing someone who was not used to their tweet blowing up or didn't think their tweet would be so big. And then they replied to their tweet, normally promoting something. So saying, if you saw this, then follow my SoundCloud or follow me on Twitter, that type of thing. And I love seeing the people who have nothing to promote. And they're like, hey, if you saw this tweet, then here's my cat.
Yep. I love that. And then that engenders other people sharing their cats. And then, it's, I don't know if, I think in Rolf Breaks the Internet, it's like the Twitter version is all cats being shared. And I think that's a pretty accurate representation of where memes end up going. When we use memes for the aquarium, we're always coming at it from the lens of how do we spin this into having some kind of ocean awareness. And we've had a couple of tweets go semi-viral, and we respond like, we don't really have much on SoundCloud, but here, learn more about our sea otters in our new scientific paper. Or don't have much to, like with the dolphin teeth one, we don't have much to talk about on our SoundCloud, but do you want to know how to sex a dolphin? And so then we discussed
and
if you're trying to
determine the sex of a dolphin.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, one of the responses was carefully, and I was like, no, that's not what we're talking about. So then followed up with more information about how you tell boy and girl dolphins apart. We have anatomically correct dolphin sculptures, and that's always, I try to give the little Easter eggs to the kids. That way they can point out to their mom and dad, like, hey, we learned how to tell that's a boy, that's a girl, and like people enjoy that.
So I think something a lot of community managers come up against when they're working with their company is how to explain memes to other people and how to explain a joke.
Yes.
So how do you, as a very online person, explain a joke to someone who isn't, and then assure them that it will get back to the ocean somehow? Yeah,
it's a very good question. It's awkward. It's difficult to explain the layers at times of what's going on. Probably the best example of a meme that we use at the aquarium, and really the one that opened Pandora's box for us to really be more online in our language, was the American Chopper meme that we did, which was just a 5-part Socratic debate format, but with the Tuttles from American Chopper. And
that's the meme where we have 4 different pictures of a scene from American Chopper where they're arguing, pointing at each other, their mouths are hanging open, they're throwing a chair. It's very violent looking, and people have mostly patched over the line saying things like...
a lot of people were using it just to be like, what's the difference between In and Out and Shake Shack, or something like that, where they're having this debate over it. This American Chopper meme was just that seminal moment of went into work Friday morning, pulled up Photoshop, got the template, loaded in, and that third panel, this thesis statement was, this is a really popular meme right now. Maybe it can generate a non-zero amount of ocean awareness. That was like literally the hope for that meme, was that some people would think about the ocean because of it. And then the rest of the argument is just how we feel as an institution. Like, we're known as being a scientific organization, and our reputation is so important. And a lot of people at the aquarium view being silly or funny as somehow undermining our scientific credibility. But then we're a public-facing aquarium. We have people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all knowledge, and our role is to inspire conservation of the ocean. That's the mission of the aquarium. So that's what the meme was about, I feel uncomfortable doing this, but I think it's the right way to communicate it. And then it ended up being shared, I think 44,000 retweets, 127,000 likes. Paul Jr., who's in the meme, shared it.
Paul Jr. from American Chopper.
Paul Jr. from American Chopper. He shared our meme, and that was the only American Chopper meme that I think he ended up sharing of all of them that went around. So that's when we were like, okay, like this is powerful. And the best part was that just before we had tweeted about our 30 years of sea otter research, and like nobody was reading it. It's like 100 likes, 20 retweets for 30 years of research on sea otters, which objectively are the most popular animals we have at the aquarium. But nobody cared about that research because it wasn't presented in the way that they wanted. So then in our comment to that meme, we plugged our sea otter research again, and that had over 8,000 likes and multiple thousand retweets. So it got more traction than it ever could. And then in the thread, people were like, well, this meme doesn't look very good. And then we were like, well, fortunately, memes live fast and die young, just like cephalopods. And then we started talking about cephalopods. And then we could plug our science. And so that's where we realized that like using the meme format to get eyes on the aquarium for just that short amount of time that it's relevant to talk about the ocean. People love the meme because it's like, oh, this is like popular, it's interesting. But then you have this entire cultural institution that is the aquarium of stories, of research, of animal knowledge, of photos and videos, and we have all this stuff ready for when people are like interested in what we're talking about, and using that meme to just like get a little bit of attention.
How did you learn that in language of Twitter? Because a lot of people are very intimidated with approaching it.
Yeah, it took years. I've been running, or I've been on the social media team at the aquarium for over 3.5 years. But it really took until the last maybe year and a half where I put concerted effort into learning Twitter. So historically, I think a lot of social media managers, like they come in, they sort of inherit the social media landscape that you have. And so Twitter wasn't a huge driving force for the aquarium. It was just, we have a Twitter, but we're just basically putting out press releases. We're just like, here's this new animal, here's a link to our website, here's a photo, that's how you tweet. And we started getting more and more traction on Twitter as we spent more time just answering people's questions, the back and forth. And by really spending a lot of time talking to people on Twitter, then bringing that into, okay, well, the aquarium should just feel like it's an influencer on the platform and try out these things. And what works and doesn't, you see right away. And then you're yes-anding, you're just learning from your interactions where your voice ends up going. So
how would you describe Monterey AQ in 3 words?
Ooh. Come see memes, CSEA.
What's been one of the biggest surprises with the account?
It's really surprising to see how much people are really enjoying this character that we've kind of created, but it's gotten us into some interesting places where we had a tweet go out where I was just using a meme format that I had seen on the MoonPie account. Hey, MoonPie, you're doing great. So the MoonPie account has a very depressed social media manager running the account as the character. So there will be tweets of just like, 5 best ways to eat a moon pie. Number 1, eat a moon pie. Number 2, try another one if you liked it. Number 3, Linda, please come back. I miss the kids. And like 4 and 5 are blank. So that... And so that is obviously just a character being played, and it's selling their product because people are like interested in the brand because it's that funny character. And so the aquarium Twitter character is this very online marine biologist who's taking every chance to use a meme to redirect the conversation back to the ocean. That's what she, when it's my coworker Emily, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take modern...
So what did MoonPie tweet?
So MoonPie tweeted a very disturbing character that happened to say, if you fake laugh long enough, it becomes like real laughter, but it comes at an emotional cost. This life hack brought to you by MoonPie. So I saw that character and I was like, oh, that's an interesting format because it had eyebrows, so they can be very expressive. So I took... What
do you mean it had eyebrows?
It was ACI art, ASCI art.
Tell me more.
Yeah. So there are different ways that people use emojis or punctuation to create images in tweets. So before emoji, there were emoticons. So a colon and a parentheses, you got a smile or a frown. So you can create entire characters out of those punctuation things. Lots of people do it. And then often those become templates for whatever message you want to have. Right, so sign bunny, great example. It's a bunny holding a sign made out of different characters. And then you just put whatever the bunny's saying in between. So this character, this template was there. So I copied it over. I put a whole bunch of waves below it so that it's in the ocean. So it's already making it more ocean themed. So the actual tweet was this character speaking inquisitively. Wasn't sure that they'd try to use the meme, that they try to use this for ocean awareness, but here we are, below. The apple squid emoji is upside down. That was the tweet. And then below, I had the same character again, switching eyebrows this time. So
in a reply or in the same tweet?
In a reply, yeah, in the thread. So below, it's just like, seriously, the siphon should be on the opposite side of the face. Right now, it just looks like a weirdo nose.
So the apple emoji, so the apple squid emoji is not anatomically correct.
It's not anatomically correct in the orientation that they mean you to look at the emoji. You're looking at a squid from below when it's clearly a squid looking at you from its face standpoint. So just a silly thing, right? And I had 3 tweets. So I had the first one pointing out the error, then below pointing out the error with documentation, so with squid photos. And then the last one is the meme going, I'm just a meme, so take it as you wail. Oh no, the puns are back. Someone please kelp.
What was the response to this thread?
The response was insane because very quickly, The Verge wrote an article about Monterey Bay Aquarium is dragging Apple about their anatomically incorrect squid emoji. And then all these other orgs started jumping on that. So Gizmodo and CNET, Macworld, all these people started writing about Monterey Bay Aquarium eviscerates, just your classic.
Slays, kills, canceled, Apple's done.
Yeah, dismembered Apple, dragging it through the streets. And it was literally just that I thought this would be funny, and a precariously formatted meme being would take umbrage to improperly formatted emoji is the justification for why that meme would bring it up now, 2 years later.
So that then prompted all of these news organizations who would not normally be covering squids to be talking about cephalopods in a really in-depth way.
Yeah, hundreds of articles came out with a paragraph explaining what a squid siphon was and talking about squid anatomy. And so, I could not have imagined when I tweeted that there would be hundreds of write-ups to, I imagine, millions of followers of all those blogs learning about squid anatomy.
What is Periscope to Monterey Bay Aquarium?
To Monterey Bay Aquarium, Periscope is one of the best tools that we've ever had access to spread our message of ocean conservation beyond the walls. So we can get as good as we want at promoting people coming to the aquarium. There will only ever be as much parking as there is, and we want to ensure that people are able to get our message in ways that are easily accessible to them. And having Periscope, that ability to teleport to anywhere in the world for people, being able to walk through the aquarium with 10,000 people in my hands, showing them a Garibaldi or like, hey, here's the lobster that just molted, and being able to have 10,000 people looking at a thing where there's maybe enough room for 20 people to see it at the same time when they're there at the aquarium, that's incredible. It's so powerful. And it's been a transformative thing, I think, for the aquarium's communications to feel a lot more confident in being live and being in the moment and not being so worried about like, well, what if this is misstated? What if like this happens? We just kind of learned on the fly that like, it's fine. The audience is on your team.
I agree. We've started doing more Periscope broadcasts with @TwitterBusiness as well. And one thing we encourage our clients to do is, I call it more worse broadcasts because they get so worried about having it be this perfect thing and good lighting and scripted. And we've seen so much positive feedback from the more lo-fi stuff we do and the things where we didn't promote it. We just kind of had an idea. And it's surprising how much people respond to casual content. People really appreciate, like you're saying, a few screw-ups and some human conversational stuff that they can just relate to easier than a much glossier production.
Absolutely, that's spot on. So like I still do every Periscope handheld.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's and the reason that I like it is because it's a little bit shaky. I mean, I got steady hands, but it's a little bit shaky. But it's like, that it's someone holding the phone.
Is there ever a risk you would drop your phone into the shark tank?
I have had so many nightmares about dropping the phone into the exhibit. Dropping it into the shark tank wouldn't be much worse than any other exhibit. The sharks aren't very social media savvy, so you don't have to worry about them tweeting something inaccurate.
Yeah, something against brand guidelines when you're gone.
Yeah. No, I mean, the sharks would probably just be like, land-based vertebrates are dumb. You know, like, yo, calm down. Like, you know.
They're such trolls.
Yeah, there's like, been around for 400 million years, what? So, you know, you'd be like, slow down, sharks, you know. I've been in situations where I've been worried about drowning the phone a couple of times. When Periscope first had the integration with GoPros, I flooded a couple GoPros trying to like do an underwater broadcast with it. There was a moment where just the camera connector got salt water on it from a manufacturing defect. So I was live underwater talking, and then I'm being told, hey, broadcast isn't working, like it's done. I'm like, really? Oh man. And I'm like, I'm still live. And then I watched the replay, and when the feed broke, every comment was just like, you got it, Patrick, thanks for trying. Like, oh, you get it next time. You know, like it was extremely supportive. And then I'm just like by myself at the bottom of the kelp forest exhibit, just looking at this like, this is not working. I'm messed up. This is I'm an idiot in front of all these like thousands of people that tuned in, and everyone was just like, "You got it! Like it worked for like 2 minutes. Everyone go to the start." You know. So.
I find it somehow comforting that even when you're at the bottom of the kelp forest, it's the same daily struggles that we all feel of disconnection.
Yeah.
What are some of the end goals of @Monterey AQ?
The main thing we want to be doing with all of our social media feeds is advancing the mission of the aquarium, which is to inspire conservation of the ocean. Like, let's do this.
I think you strike the balance extremely well.
Thanks so much.
And I'm constantly surprised and pleased with how you bring it back to the ocean every time. Yeah,
and my personal philosophy, but one that we have all throughout through the aquarium, which is that the ocean is the most relevant topic of conversation every day on a water planet. We know that the ocean is the heart of the planet's life support system. It's what moves energy from the sun around the globe. It's what drives weather. It's what drives climate. It's what drives the food resources for 2 billion people. It's the only reason that life exists is because of the ocean. We need people to be thinking about the ocean more, and we can't just tell people like, hey, care about the ocean, because most people don't know much about it. They don't live near it, and we're only at the 3rd generation of scuba diver. You know, Jacques Cousteau, 1955 in the 60s with the aqualung. That's the first time people are swimming around with a tank on their back. So we're our grandparents removed from exploring the underwater world in this free way. So everything that we know about the ocean is from like the first 3 generations of people who went to Africa and discovered elephants. And we're still learning new things about land-based ecosystems to this day. So imagine how far behind we are with the ocean, which is most of the planet, most of the life. So with the aquarium account, the hope is everybody's on their phones anyway, or if they're on Twitter, they're on Twitter. And if we're on Twitter, then there's that chance that they'll see something that we talk about, and they'll have that moment of like, oh, that's right, the ocean is still happening. And then maybe when they hear something on the news, they'll feel a part of that story enough that they feel like they have ownership of the ocean, that they can help it.
What does Monterey Bay Aquarium use Twitter ads for?
So we have been using Twitter ads to build up our follower base largely. We made about 20 different ads of 5-second marine science information pieces like sea stars have eyes at the end of their arms, which means that every food that they grab is eye candy.
No.
Or an octopus's brain wraps around its throat. That's why they don't eat ice cream. Instant brain freeze.
Wow.
So those one-liners filmed on a green screen with octopuses in the background that I wrote, and then
5 seconds is the perfect video length for something like that. And we've seen, I'm not surprised to hear that that's successful, because we've seen tweets that have a video with them get about 10 times the engagement of a tweet that does not have the video. What is your favorite Twitter tip?
Biggest Twitter tip is set your social media team free. Let them play. They do not want your brand to suffer. They will have ideas that will seem out of the box.
What is your favorite life tip?
Favorite life tip? I think my favorite life tip is that all of society is one giant improv game. We're all making it up as we go, and there's never a point where you actually know what it is that you're doing deep down. You're just trying your best with the information that you have. I have a lot of people at the aquarium, teenagers and stuff that ask me, like, how do you get your job? And I think most of us growing up, we all thought that adults knew what they were doing. And then you realize that all being an adult means is that you're responsible for your actions. And so freeing people from the idea that there's a moment where you know what you're doing, and instead you just wake up and you try stuff and you learn from it.
Set your social media team free and don't be afraid to improv. Patrick Webster, thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast.
Thanks so much, Joe.
I learned so much about the ocean.
Wonderful. That's the whole point. Yeah, snuck in some ocean science there. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. It's inspiring to hear all the ways that brands and people use Twitter to get their message out. But how do those ads actually work? How do you set up a campaign? So I have a customer success person internally at Twitter here to explain some of the specifics. And since Twitter is all about live and in the moment, I haven't told them why they're here. So we're going to see how they are on the spot.
Okay, so my name is Ashley Dompierre. I am a
Hi,
customer success specialist at Twitter.
So your job is giving people Twitter advice.
Correct. Some even call me a Twitter ads expert.
Would you call you a Twitter ads expert?
I would personally call myself a Twitter ads expert, yes.
So I would love for you to describe what a website card is
Okay.
in 30 seconds, starting now.
Okay, a website card is a clickable ad unit where you have an image or video, and the main drive is either to create engagements with your website or through your video. So you can optimize for clicks or you can optimize for video views, and it's just our main ad unit to drawing people to your site and driving traffic.
What is Quick Promote?
Quick Promote is if you have a tweet that you already tweeted that you liked and you decide that you want to promote it and put money behind it.
You want to get more likes.
You want to get more likes. You want to get more engagement.
How do you do Quick Promote?
You would go in after the fact, set up a campaign or add it to a campaign, and just go through your organic tweets and select it and then
Click it and then...
Yeah, so you would go back into your ads manager, and then you can either add it to like a current campaign or create a new campaign, and you just select the tweets that you already have as your creative.
Okay. What is a promoted account?
A promoted account is if you were trying to get new followers. So your account's going to pop up normally on the sidebar. It says who to follow, and just in the hopes of new people following you who are interested.
What do you do if the followers are bad?
There's no such thing as bad followers because every follower brings value.
What's pre-roll?
Pre-roll is video. Best case scenario, 6 seconds. That goes in front of video content that we already have on the platform from our publishing partners.
Who's it targeted to?
Targeted to whoever you want. You can either do it based off of who the publisher is or the type of audience that you're looking to reach.
What's a bad tweet?
Too long, too many hashtags.
What's a website clicks or conversions campaign?
A website clicks or conversions campaign is a campaign that you set up when you're trying to drive people to your site or you're trying to drive a specific action. So it can either be, once people get to your site, you want them to fill out a sign-up sheet, or you want them to purchase something. So that's the objective that you'd pick if that's what you're looking for.
Have you ever been converted?
I have been converted. I have purchased necklaces before and custom necklaces. They got a lot of ads for that.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today. Your tips, I think everyone got some value out of them, so thank you so much. If you had one tip to leave us with, what is your top Twitter tip?
My top Twitter tip is the simpler the better. One hashtag, straight to the point.
What's your top life tip?
My top life tip is wake up early and drink a lot of coffee.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Character Count is a production of Pod People for @Twitter Business. This episode was hosted by me, Joe Wadlington. Our executive producer is Rachel King. This episode was produced by Holden Mary and Jesse Carrier and edited by Joanna Clay. Music by Annalise Nelson and Dax Schaefer. Special thanks to Marissa Window, Lindsay Bruce, and the entire Twitter customer success team. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. follow at Twitter Business for incredible tips on Twitter ads, marketing best practices, or follow me at Joe Wadlington for tweets about Dolly Parton. Have a great day.